Awesome. Well, I'm glad that you guys were able to join. Our plan is to do one of these each month on the second Thursday. And each time we'll have 2 times, one in the morning at 10 a.m. Mountain. And that one I will be doing. And then at 5 p.m. Mountain Time, it's the same content that'll be covered. And Anna will do the ones in the afternoon or evening there. So the first, get my screen shared here. Today we just wanted to go over what it looks like to clear out your event, archive, get it all your site refreshed for the next year. So in order to do that, you'll just come down to the info icon here and open the refresh/archive your event. This will walk you through, basically what it does is it will walk you through a lot of the different information or pages that will need to be updated year to year. And then it will also take you to a spot where you can clear out any of the users that you need to take off of your site. So the first page here, basically it's just some simple event information. So you can make sure the director information is correct, and this helps just to make sure we have the right contact information as we're sending out any type of communications or invoices when that time comes. If you need to change the name or logo for your event and the size, you can do that all here. The next page, this is the kind of the big one that I think a lot of people go through this for. This is where you can actually remove any users from your site, getting it ready for the next year. So you can see here, participants or students are always removed. When you go through this refresh, it will remove all participants and projects. And then the staff and admins are always kept, so they're never removed. But for everything else, you can choose if you want to remove or keep them. So if the setting is off, that means it will keep the judges. If you turn it on, that would remove all judges on your site. Same with teachers, volunteers. Attendees would be if you had anyone that's just attending the event that you have registered. This isn't anything to do with like the participants. And then your schools, if you want to remove or keep those. The new this year, we have the archive before date. We realized that some events would maybe miss removing all of the users before new users started registering. So what this does is it allows you to put in a date. So say you wanted to remove any users that registered before August 1st, you could put in the date of August 1st. And then when you went to archive and clear the selected data, it would only remove any accounts that were created before that date, but keep any of them that registered after that date. Once you are ready, you just hit archive and clear selected data, and it would bring down a drop down that says, are you sure you want to do this? You hit OK, and it will remove all of those users for you. I'm going to do skip for now. So now for the reset accounts, the first time login. Oh, yeah, Adrian, did you have a question on that?
Yeah. What would be the advantage of removing all the schools?
Honestly, most events don't remove all the schools. Really, this comes in when you have, excuse me, some events allow for students to add schools. So if they don't see their school listed, they can add a school. And so a lot of times just over time, it gets kind of cluttered. But other than that, most events don't remove the schools. That's a good question.
Cool. Thanks.
Next, we have the option to reset accounts to first-time login. So this, again, does not affect staff or admins, but any of the other accounts. So let's say you kept your judges and your teachers. What this would do, if you click yes, is reset those accounts to where when a judge or teacher logs in the next time, they would be taken to their profile page instead of the home page for the site. And what that does is it forces them to review all of their information. It doesn't remove any of the information, but they have to go through and resave what's there. So that way you basically can make sure that you have all of the most up-to-date contact information or personal information, as well as for judges if they want to reselect their category preferences. So that's basically all this does. It takes them to their profile to review their information. All right. And then moving past that, this is where we get into all these different pages where it'll just ask a bunch of information about your event that would typically change year over year. So this is all of your dates. You can always go back and find these in the settings later. So this is just, some events have them already planned out for their next year, and so they can go through, just an easy place to enter all those in. Oops. The next page is any contact us information. So this would show, let me get another tab here. So under the fair drop down, or you can have it just, instead of under the drop down, just as a contact us in your menu. You can have a contact us page where you have, some information up at the top that you can put in there, and then a form that users on your site can fill out to send messages to you for support. So these settings right here are what show on this page. So you can, and then you can decide what you want to show on there. You can require a reCAPTCHA so that they have to verify that they're not a robot. And that's where you can change all that contact us information. Next, it takes you to any fees that you have set up and all of the settings around fees and invoices. So you can change what the fee is. You can say if you're allowing for invoices, if you allow for schools to pay, basically anything regarding like a registration fee, you can do here. As well as at the bottom, it gives you for any store items that you have set up, or if you have any coupons set up for any of the fees. Next, it takes you to where you can edit the pages. This will look a little different depending on if you're in the new style or the basic style of the site. The new style is what you see here, where you have your home page where you have a poster, a details page, and a photo gallery. And then it also gives you access to all of these widgets. For the important links, you can create pages within your ZFair site so that you can put the link to those pages here, or you can have these linked to external web pages. Like for our sample site, you can go to like the ICEF page or any of those other pages. If you have a separate page for your event, you can put those links here. The other advantage of using the new style is it scales a lot better for mobile devices. So with the old style, the pages, sometimes the text would run off or the formatting would get changed, images wouldn't display properly. All of that is fixed within this new style. So when you go through the archiving or refreshing process here, this will bring up to where you can edit those widgets. And then if you're on the old style, it takes you to where you have all of the different pages, all of the editors here. After that, it'll kind of take you through a judging review. So it'll see if you're doing a virtual event. If you click yes, this will change some settings on your site for you. So like it'll turn on the virtual meeting rooms where judges have those meeting rooms where they can do like a video chat with participants. Anything related to virtual judging. So you can skip that for now. It'll ask if you want a showcase for this year. If you click yes, it'll turn on the showcase and then take you to some basic showcase settings. And then you can go to all showcase settings and it will bring up everything. Basically, this is just where you can go through and say what information you want to appear in the showcase for those participants. The showcase, I don't know if we have it turned on. Yeah. So basically the showcase is just a way where you can make this public facing or where you have to be logged in to see it, but it'll just show all the projects and you can just click into it and see information about the project. So that's what you're changing here is what shows on this page. And once you finish the showcase, it'll ask if you have any changes in your categories. So you can just click edit and make any quick changes or add or remove categories from here. Same with subcategories. It'll take you through setting up your rubrics and your rounds. So if you need to make changes to a rubric, It'll just have a manage here. Same with your rounds if you need to make any changes. Again, all of these changes can be made separately. We just try to put it all in one place for you here too. And then after that, it'll say your event refresh is complete. We added a link to a survey. This basically is just an overall survey and feedback about the Seafarers platform. So we go and look at those to, see what people are looking for, maybe any pain points you had, any feedback you have is great, and we greatly appreciate that. But then once you're done, it'll just take you back to your page, and you can continue, editing things as you need. If you're using the new style, you can go into these 3 dots here, and this will bring up all of those same editors that you saw, and that's how you can edit that home page. But that's mainly what we wanted to cover today, was just go over what it looks like to refresh and reset your site for the next year. Other things that we're working on, we've got the paperwork, the new forms. I know ICEF changed some forms. We have those uploaded into the form packets, and we're working on getting those into the old paperwork manager. But other than that, all of the updates should be ready for you to go in and make on your site. Does anyone have any questions about anything regarding, refreshing or resetting your site for the next year?
Yes, I have a few questions, if it's okay, Robert. First
Yeah,
one, I put it down back when you did if you want to force the first time registration so that those that it saved the information you said, but everything else needs to be, like, for example, a judge would need to review to make sure their info is up to date. I was just going to ask, does that force them to also choose a new username and password? Or does it just send them, they log in as before, and then they just go ahead and confirm and click next if everything's correct?
Great question. It does not affect their username or password at all. So they'll still use the same account to log in. And then they're just resetting everything.
Read the fine print.
Okay, I can't read that fine from my screen. It's too small. Thank you, David. He's got a bigger screen. He was showing me that the fine print's answered that. Sorry about that.
No worries. I should have zoomed in a little bit.
Is when you were going through the judging review, where you talked about is it virtual or is it in person? In our case, we use Seafarers for 2 different events, all in the same fair season. Our research paper event is virtual, but our project event is in person. Does that matter on how we choose on that? So we have both a virtual judging as well as an in-person judging.
Great question. So on that, you could just say yes. That will, a lot of events do some sort of hybrid that way.
Okay.
And so when you click yes, basically it will open up those virtual meeting rooms so that the judges and participants can do interviews or things like that.
Okay, and then we can get into, all it does is get us into the settings, and then we can choose per rubric or per judging round. Per judging round, we can decide if it's virtual or if it's in person and so on, right?
Right. And you can, and if you're not doing what am I trying to say? If you're submitting rubrics online, even if it's an in-person event, if you click no, you'll still have access to submit those rubrics online. Really, the virtual event is just for those meeting rooms.
Okay. That's good. That's good to know. So we could say no if we are not going to have a face-to-face, but just be evaluating the research papers as PDFs. That round can be a no, even though they're judging, literally entering scores online, right? That doesn't matter. Okay, it's just for the video part. Perfect. That helps clear that up. Last question was on the new forms. Great job to get the new forms in. Did you also get in the Thermo Fisher new middle school form for those that want to do that for middle school? I put that out this year too. It's a 3-page.
Okay, that's a good question. I'll double check and get back to you on that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you can do that with custom forms anyway. There's a workaround if you didn't do it.
Yeah.
But if you did it, since Thermo Fisher put it out and they presented it at ICEF and said that that's an acceptable choice if you wanted that for middle school. It'd be good to know if you have it in there.
Yeah, that's a good question. I will double check and let you know.
This is
Yeah,
David. I'm
I'd
going
like
to
to
follow
know
up.
as well.
If you do have Thermo Fisher, is it, oh, I should let Adrian talk. Adrian, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say I would like to know if those forms are going to be in there as well.
Awesome. Yeah, maybe I'll talk to Anna about that, figure out what we're doing there, and then maybe we can just send out a communication to everyone just with a brief update on the forms and the Thermo Fisher. I feel like that'll probably be a common question.
Great.
I'm going to follow up with that. When you give us the answer, I would like to know whether you're supporting it with paper forms or whether you're going to support it with electronic forms as well.
Okay.
Because
I
then
would
you'll have to define the fields of who the approvers are, et cetera. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, for sure. I would assume it will be available for both, but I'll double check and let you know for sure.
Thank you.
I've got a question about the setup of the content page, the main homepage there.
Yeah.
Right now it looks like mine is my homepage just says details. This page is blank. And then when I click on the three dots, I get the content menu. Is there anything special you have to do to create the little side windows and things that you have? I've never successfully been able to
Good question.
to create those windows.
So are you talking about like the location
Yeah.
schedule? Yeah. So in the three dots, these are all the widgets. So
Okay.
we have the show account is the one that has like the username right here. You can turn on the schedule, important links, and event location.
Okay.
So that's to turn them on. And then within each of them, there will be a manager associated with it. And that's how you add or remove content
Okay.
from those widgets.
Cool. All right. Are there other widgets for other pages or just for this one?
It is just for the home page that we have the widgets.
Okay.
Question. Awesome. Well, are there any other questions?
Robert, we spoke several weeks ago about some things that I was trying to streamline a little better with judging. I don't want to jam up this phone call with that, but I might need to get back. I might need to schedule another 15, 20 minutes with you guys just to make
Yeah.
sure I set my rubrics and rounds up and all that stuff right.
Yeah, no worries. I'll put the my meeting link in the chat here. And then we can,
Great. Thank you.
that way you can have that in schedule whenever works. Awesome. Well, is there anything else before we wrap up here?
None for me.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys joining. We will, like I said, we'll be doing these once a month. It'll be on the second Thursday of each month. We'll have the 2 times, and then we'll get the recordings available. But as always, feel free to reach out to us at support@zfairs.com, or we can schedule a meeting, whatever works best. But hopefully you guys can have another start to a successful season, and sure we'll chat soon.
Sounds good.
Thank you very much, Robert. Appreciate it.
Thanks a lot.
Yep. Have a great day.